an employer should always have policies in place. Our new WorkSafe legislation, to go back to where we first began our conversation, it's now law. So that's legislated that there must be policies. The policies must identify what bullying and harassment is, and they must also identify the procedures. So if you're an employee coming to your supervisor should have some knowledge of how to move forward with that complaint. There should be in the policies a number of different steps that can be taken. So you can have it as an informal complaint, which means, maybe the supervisor will help you have some conversation with the harasser. You can maybe encourage your employees on how to have a conversation of their own. So I could help you go back and forth with, what are the words I need to say, and, do a little bit of a role play. If they're not comfortable with that, then the supervisor can maybe mediate. If they're not comfortable with that, maybe bring in an external mediator, but have those processes there. If it's a serious allegation, if it's a manager against a manager or something like that, you may want to actually bring in an external investigator. So part of your policy should speak to what it is, speak to the processes and what do you do, speak to what are some of the actual remedies that we might find as an employer. Do we need to do an investigation? And if you need to do an investigation, what does that look like? How is it going to roll out, as it were? Are there circumstances where you can do it in-house? Are there circumstances where you do need to bring someone in from the outside? But all of those pieces should be there now. So how a supervisor would respond to it, clearly it depends on the severity of the complaint, whether or not you can coach them and guide them to having a conversation, or whether you need to go right to the other end of the spectrum, which involves an investigation and potential discipline or termination, depending on the severity.